What's up, everybody, and welcome to my NXT review. A lot of things going on this show for NXT tonight as we build in the War Games. I believe it's in like next 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. But before I do begin, getting to NXT, make sure you check out my Survivor Series 2021 review that is uploaded online right now. Went about an hour and 15 minutes. Me and my guest host talking about that show and Monday Night Raw from the Golden Egg to the whole fan and Seth Rollins, if you even want to call that guy a fan at this point, or whatever he's trying to put on, or whatever the story, because it's still a lot coming out about that today. Or for some reason, Dana Brooke can shield herself, or everybody's too scared to pin someone that's a champion because it's a woman for some reason, even though they've done it in the past before. Go check that Monday Night Raw review out, okay? But NXT tonight, though, what do we have going on with NXT? We kicked it off with Grayson Waller, basically, talking about Champa and the fans turning on him, and kind of like how the fans have turned on John Cena throughout the years, and basically, he's got more social media than a lot of people, and you all follow people like Cena and The Rock and whatnot, and guys like Boo Roman Reigns, he's one of the biggest people in the company right now. Basically said he's gonna follow that path and get on their level and whatnot. He didn't have to go through the indies. Basically, he's just here because all this Twitter and whatnot. Okay, um, and stuff. So as he kept doing his promo, Champa Champa basically came out with Champa versus Waller then, which I guess Champa damn near beat the living dog shit out of this guy throughout half this match. But this was still a very good match in general. Um, one thing that was kind of funny was Waller doing the people's elbow and whatnot. Except I think he was trying to go for like a Nia doing like his own version of it, just kind of like throwing the whole elbow pad and stuff. But um Champa, still trying to go for that fairy tale ending and whatnot. Was able to get an air raid crash on him, but he ended up hitting with the Willow's Bell for the win. So Champa ended up getting the win over Grayson Waller in the beginning of this show. So not a bad match though. Like I said, Ciampa got the win. He went to Eli Drake talking about it. What did you think about it? And Eli Drake basically went on to say, he could have cost Waller the match, but he did a good job on that by himself. And that Waller sucks, and that's a fact of life until Joe Gacy showed up saying, your words are destructive and whatnot. And basically, it's a safe space in the ring is always open. And, Drake said, you're kind of creepy and whatnot, but there's not going to be any microaggressions or anything. Maybe some ruthless aggression tonight, but basically, you can get your ass stomped in, and that is not an insult. That is just a fact of life. And as he left, Gacy basically said, you should leave the aggression in the locker room. So, yeah, more Joe Gacy, safe space or this whole promo thing. We'll get into more of him later on in the night. But Toxic Attraction came in. Dakota Kai walked by them, walking all weird like as they talked about Cora Jade and everything. Somehow there's a whole bunch of destroyed stuff there, which they all walked away, and Kaylee Ray just went back to destroying things with a baseball bat then after that. But Cameron Grimes came out next. A little bit more shorter hair, and that thing was clean shaven, but after he got some of his hair cut last week, it was like more of his hair is cut and his beard. And basically, Grimes talked about how he grew up in a small town in North Carolina and talked about, say, he wasn't good enough. Or a lot of people at one point said. And he had to show him he was good enough. And no matter how many times he had to scramble and get around, just for change, just to eat all that stuff, he made it somehow. And he struck rich in this industry and whatnot. And going against, him keeping his hair, reminding him of all his humble beginnings and whatnot. But now he had nothing, and that Duke Hudson's going to pay for what he did. He humiliated and embarrassed him. So now he's going to get some payback. As he called him out, Hudson showed up on the screen, which he was getting a haircut himself. And, even got some money off of Grimes and whatnot. You look like a troll at one point, but I helped you fix it. So, I'm sorry, not sorry, and whatnot. And Grimes basically said that you're gutless and nutless. And then Grimes said, I'm challenging you hair versus hair match at NXT. Well, I guess I shouldn't be saying takeover, but I guess takeover War Games coming up in the next week as Hudson basically accepted the match and even had some of Grimes' hair in like a Ziploc bag then. So not a bad promo from Grimes out there. Very good promo. So will he lose his hair? I don't know, but more shorter hair this week. Indy Hartwell and Persia were interviewed. She talked about the update on Dexter Loomis and that his hand is injured and he can't be able to draw to show the great artist that he is. So she was mostly worried about him. Persia was gonna actually go do the match by herself, but Indy said, "I can do this week. We can do this." They had a new promo video for Tiffany Stratton. I don't know what this was. It just like it was just some woman playing tennis. So don't know where it's going, but we'll see what happens. But next was Casey Cadenzaro and Kayden Carter versus Indy and Persia. At one point in the match, Indy was looking at her wedding ring finger. I don't know if the ring was gone, but she kept looking at it several times, and Casey and Kayden ended up getting the win over Indy with their finisher and whatnot. But Indy basically, just kept looking at her wedding ring finger. I guess, just worried about it because of Dexter and whatnot. So now she's distracted all of a sudden. Next thing you know, what was it? Andre Chase, he walked with his students. Grimes told him to go to hell and walked off. Santos Escobar, I know we haven't seen him until last week when against Malik Blade. Santos won, I know he had a promo video before that, but Elektra Lopez basically talked about we offered Zion Quinn an opportunity of a lifetime, and he said no, and we didn't need him anyways, okay? And that they are stronger than ever. Legado de Fantasma. Next thing you know, Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner came out. The worst thing they could do in this entire segment was give Von Wagner a microphone because, by God, he sounded like a robot and he looked like he was trying to memorize lines and he sounded very bad out there. Talking about his foot was on the ropes. Imperium showed up from like a perch up there talking about, this crowd must have a second language and whatnot, and you all are acting like children and stuff. And as, Eichner and Bartel are talking about them. Basically says, when you will have a chance to face us at War Games, y'all just fight amongst yourselves, and we'll see who's the winner then. Next, though, Raquel Gonzalez, EO, Zoe Stark, and Cora J were arguing in the back, but Cora said, listen, man, we already know the whole can they coexist thing. It's old. We're getting tired of it right now, but we need to find a fourth member. So while y'all do that, she's going to go, I guess, take on Toxic Attraction right now, so we'll see what goes on with that. Mr. Tony D'Angelo himself talked about the triple threat match, who he's got his money on tonight, and he has his money on Carmello Hayes. Capiche? So forget about it. You could end up in the river, all right? But second hour then, Mandy Rose came out to go against Cora Jade. Match was okay. Kaylee Ray came out there basically distracting Mandy Rose, throwing her baseball bat to the referee. Cora Jade got the roll-up win and beat Mandy Rose, so she get a win over the champion out there. So I'm very, very interested to see where this goes. Obviously, this kind of sets up Kaylee Ray to be the fourth member, which she did say she is the fourth member, and she's going to help get the advantage next week for War Games. So we'll see what happens with that. See what happens with that then. But next, Joe Gacy came out as he was going to go against Eli Drake, but Grayson Waller ended up attacking Eli Drake, and both guys brawled to the back. And then Joe Gacy basically got on the microphone, basically in the ring by himself. And, we wanted to resolve our conflicts peacefully, but I guess that can't be. The Diamond Mine came out then, basically saying Gacy trying to steal their spotlight and whatnot. This is our time. You tried to do it last week, but this is our time now. And that, you don't respect the NXT Cruiserweight Champion Roderick Strong. But then Gacy basically started calling out Strong for, toxic masculinity and weight shaming and, dividing people and I don't know, basically making fun of whatever any SJW would say or whatnot, just using words like that. Because, especially the whole toxic masculinity or Me Too bullshit or however you want to go with it. Just, you're separating the group. You know how they all sound, okay? But next, though, not next, though, but basically, Strong had no idea what he was really talking about. But, he wants a piece of him at War Games, so I guess it's going to be them for the title. Bivens basically told the Creed brothers to get rid of Joe Gacy, but I guess Parker Bordeaux or Harlan showed up. And then, okay, you know what, we out of here, forget it, all right? We're going to do it later. So I guess it's a heel versus heel thing? Where is this going? both of these crews are heel, right? Or just all these guys. So who's the face in this situation here now? Like, is it Diamond Mine? I don't think Joe Gacy's a face, but are Diamond Mine faces now? I don't really understand where this is going all the way. So it's a match of War Games, but who's really the face here? MSK, I guess, was still looking for the Shaman. They ended up getting pulled over by 12. 12, I guess, was going to... I guess they told them they was driving at 7 miles per hour, very slow. And I guess they were trying to have the weed and whatnot, or I guess it's weed in there. But don't know why. What was it? Wentz was wearing a John Cena shirt. And then they told him to open the bag, but a car ended up speeding past. And then they said, "You're lucky daddy, I gotta go after that car. So y'all free to go." So basically, the cops pulled off then. And what's in the bag? I don't know. Ivy Nile went against Yulisa Leon. Basically a showcase match, quick one for Ivy Nile. So basically just showing off her strength and whatnot. Not bad. We had a Solo Sokoa video package talk about. He grew up with the down since day one guys, which is the Usos, but now he's on his own and he's going to prove he's the big street champion of the islands right now. What's their name? Grizzly Young Vets again were still robbing people for some reason. Eli Drake and Grayson Waller still brawled throughout the building tonight. Boa, by God, I don't know what's with this Boa thing now. It's like he has this split personality, or he's being possessed by the Mei Ying, the Tien Sha. What happened to her? Like, what's going on with that? And now Boa's like going between regular Boa and like this face paint Boa. I don't know. I'm really sick of this Tien Sha shit. I'm actually surprised it's still having this go, especially after moving Zia Lee to SmackDown. So it's not really good. Boa is not really good, and it looks pretty ridiculous. So maybe something works out. I don't know, but I don't think it will. The Grizzly Young Vets went against Briggs and Jensen out there, whatever, APA, Freebirds, I don't know. Briggs and Jensen got the win, and they beat the Grizzly Vets, so I don't know. Why are they robbing people now? Like, I still don't understand that. Or jacking people, or just finding ways to get ahead. And what did they want to rob their own grandmother last week? I don't know. Grizzly Young Veterans, I have no idea where they're going with this gimmick right now. But in the main event, though, we did get Carmello Hayes, Johnny Gargano, and Pete Dunne for the North American Championship. Very good match to end off the show. Very good. So I wonder who was going to win here. Pete Dunne almost got it with the bitter end, but the next thing you know, Tony D'Angelo came out and pulled him out of the ring then. Yeah, he pulled him out of the ring. And that gave basically Trick Williams to hit his finisher and get the win over Gargano after that. So yeah, Melo still retained the title. Next, Waller and Drake or Eli, whatever, LA Knight were out there brawling with each other still. Then next thing you know, the fans start chanting War Games then. And then Trick Williams it's a big brawl then between everybody from, Gargano and Pete Dunne and Tony D'Angelo and Waller and LA Knight. And next thing you know, Trick Williams, they were going to like do the Gargano's hand like they did the Dexter Loomis, but then next thing you know, Tommaso Ciampa came out, starts hitting people with chairs then and whatnot, taking all the heels out of the ring. Fans start to chant DIY, and then they want to War Games again. And then next thing you know, Braun Breaker comes out, and I guess since we don't have Regal around, he says War Games, and then basically both of these teams brawl, which now looks like the NXT versus NXT 2.0, which they're going with to close the show, and it's going to be for War Games. So yeah, I guess on NXT, regular NXT, it's what DIY, Pete Dunne, and whatever, Eli Drake versus NXT 2.0, which is Braun Breaker. I don't think he's even a heel, but then again, I don't think LA Knight is a face also, but I guess he's face in regards to regular NXT. I don't know. But yeah, Braun Breaker, Carmelo Ace, Grayson Waller, and Tony D'Angelo, which is kind of weird to put him in a War Games match. Wow, I think I just had the mute button of everything I just said. So you probably didn't hear me for the past 7, 8 seconds. So yeah, I don't know about Tony D'Angelo in this match. And this now reminds me of what ECW versus the new blood of ECW in a way. So could it that's yeah, it's kind of what it looks like. If you remember that whole thing, that's when ECW relaunched back in like '06 and whatnot. And they did that whole thing in like WrestleMania at the time. So yeah, it's NXT versus NXT 2.0, the black and gold brand versus this Nickelodeon color whatever brand and whatnot. So yeah, man. Hey, it's good to see DIY back though. So yeah, the War Games teams are set up for the men's side now. So it looked like a lot really happened for NXT though tonight, especially building up War Games and for matches coming up in the next week, not next week, but like the week after that. So we'll see what happens with this War Games coming up. I'm not really sure how this is gonna go, and I still noticed they have that called the NXT Takeover. They only just said NXT War Games, not Takeover War Games. So I don't know what's really gonna happen from here, but we'll see what happens. Okay. But yes, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. See you guys then. We'll be for an AEW review tomorrow night. Possibly Thanksgiving Eve, but let's just say something's going to be different about that review tomorrow. But I'm not going to explain. Just wait and see. I'm out of here. See you guys then. Peace.